Greetings and welcome to Old Drunken Discography. I'm your host, Jason. With me is Tim.
I Reek of Putrefaction.
And Bill.
Oh, we're trying to keep it together.
And we're talking Carcass. This is a Tim pick. If you've been a fan of the show for a while, you would have guessed that anyway. But for those of you who are new, we rotate out each week. One of us picks an artist for their friends to listen to, and we rank the albums, and we have a good old time getting drunk. So, Carcass. Brief history / relationship with the band. I'll go first. One of my favorite bands has a song called Necrotism, Decanting the Insalubus. Cyber Part 7, they added a couple extra stuff to it. So I've always been curious because, like, wow, Brendan Kelly likes Carcass. Let me, but I never actually listened to it until now. So brand new discography for me.
Yeah, I'll piggyback off of that. Brand new discography. I've heard a couple people mention, Carcass here and there. I've never.
I think I know a guy that talks about him.
Well, I've heard a couple besides Tim that have mentioned Carcass.
There are dozens of us.
And they've always been mentioned, honestly, in a positive light. So I was, mildly intrigued. But as for actually listening, I hadn't heard a single Carcass song knowingly in my life before going through this discography.
Yeah, when I was the ripe old age of 8.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
a decapitated squirrel.
If you remember some antiquated thing we did in the 20th century, but I found this band in high school. Extreme metal was still very much an underground thing where tape trading was still involved, and people were trying to outdo each other and whatnot. And just a band. There was a record store you could go in and pick any album out, and they let you listen to it before you bought it. And so I just go in there like on paydays and, pick 10, 15 albums to listen to and then maybe walk out with one or two. And, found this band through that. I've been a fan ever since. Long time fan. I think that they're one of the best I think they are the best extreme metal band.
I think it says something grindcore or something. Grindcore, some genre.
They invent like 3 or 4 different metal subgenres within this discography. And all of those subgenres are just pale imitations of what Carcass is doing. It's like, yeah, they exist, and some of those bands have become quite popular. But without Carcass, like, that whole career just doesn't even exist. And they're still going, still in top form. I recently saw them live, like, in the last couple of years, and it was awe-inspiring. It was a fantastic show.
I guess we'll get into, like, band member changes if there are any, because I had questions on a couple of them.
There's a few, yeah.
All right, well.
Yeah, it all starts at the very beginning.
Who wants to start with Reek of Putrefaction?
With grinding of the genitals.
Bill, did you read the lyrics as you went along?
For some of these I did.
Okay, that's all you need to do.
Because I kind of had to. Because I was having, especially this initial album, I had a real hard time actually listening, or not hard time listening, but a hard time making out what was actually being sung.
That's because this album sounds like shit. I'm sorry. Production-wise,
it's like a stretch.
It sounds like shit.
I mean, I would kind of in that same scope, say for me, I mean, I'll be brutally blunt because this is what 22 tracks. So it's what, like 40 minutes, I think, for the entire
Yeah, yeah.
thing.
Yeah, it's one of the
Like,
first grindcore albums, which takes extreme metal and punk rock.
and that's makes sense. I mean, I will be brutally honest though. If you played three of these tracks and told me to pick out which one it was just offhand, it ain't happening. Like, I mean, I know there was some technical variations between some of these songs as it's going because they were different songs, but I was like, oh, well, our new song now.
It
Oh
just
shoot.
sounds like boom, 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 the entire
Yeah.
way.
I mean, definitely, like, I will definitely get into it in some future albums, but like this one, it felt very, it wasn't monotone from the standpoint like it was like the same note, but it was like monotone from the standpoint, it was like the same, like, okay, we're taking
Because I read
four,
up on it.
four bars and going.
The mixing, they were not happy with
Mhm.
how this turned out. Like they only had like they didn't have enough time to mix it or something.
Right. Well, and they're
So
still kids when they do this too, you know? And yeah, like, especially in the context of, the times, like, you got to remember this is coming out against the backdrop of like Wasp and Motley Crue and Winger and
but
this whole
also like
crest
Black,
of,
Ride the Lightning and Master of Puppets and
well, exactly. Yeah, of
Iron
course. And
Maiden,
yeah.
and yeah,
Um,
Ramones are
so yeah, yeah, the production's terrible. The production's terrible, but that's part of its charm for me.
see
I
that's
mean,
that. I mean, I don't mind a shitty debut album with crappy production most of the time, but like this one just did not. It didn't. I didn't get the charm off this one. Like it just the opening lines of this discography, which is actually on the second track because the first one was an instrumental. And I actually like the first song. The opening track was pretty good. Um, but the opening lines are coughing up a mixture of mucus, phlegm, and bile, the sordid sight of burning flesh. Now, at this point, when I took my notes, I hadn't heard anything else past this, but I'm assuming those lyrics are going to be on point for this entire discography. 3 out of 5. Musically great, hated the vocals. Track 3 just says it sounds like shit. Track 4, I like the music. It's thrashy. It's kind of grindy too. Had a really cool breakdown in it. Lots of fun time changes. Lyrically, yeah, not my thing. Carbonized, yeah, I never want to hear this again. Frenzied, my only notes say hackled giblets. Giblets is just a funny word. Vomited, track 7. Seriously, this album sounds like shit. The guitars are either really low and muted or just randomly pitched too high. Excreted alive. Well, the songs are at least short. That's a plus. Track 11, there's some really fun riffs here. It's just drowned out in bad production and horrible vocals. Burnt to a crisp. Different vocalist, asked Tim. Sounded like someone from a different for the most part. I love the riffs though when the vocals aren't there. It reminds me of Anthrax or some shit. This album just sounds like boom, 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 boom. The production's awful. And not in that charming first album, low budget kind of way. I was not a fan.
And I expected that. Yeah, this is a tough album to listen to. The thing that keeps having me come back to it is the rest of the discography. Um,
And I could see that.
yeah, it really helps put this into context. That in time, it is a tough album. I remember the first time I heard it, I like I was like shocked and appalled that I would just buy this sight unseen and like question my whole musical taste. And especially with the rest of the discography, you can hear it. Bill Steer and Ken Owen are two of the greatest metal musicians that have lived. Their combination on drums and guitar is just a magic that is very much present here once you get past the horrible production.
You know,
But that's
I was
part of
gonna
the show.
ask. So I was gonna ask when you said two musicians if that was gonna be the guitars and the drums, because that'll come up in a couple albums, assuming they stick together here.
Yeah, that and the bass player who is the other singer, the guitar player and the bass player are singing. So there's two singers.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Um, Bill plays guitar and he's got the more traditional death metal voice. And then Jeff, who plays bass, has the higher shrieky voice that eventually takes over. And
That makes sense. Okay.
yeah, but it's the same two dudes.
Okay.
And yeah, I won't go into too many of these. You guys covered most of it. Gentle Grinder is just a classic riff. Love it. Um, my notes for Maggot Colony, Jason, say great dual vocals. Piazza Subfied, Rotten to the Gore is another Carcass classic. Great riffs going on in there. Was it track 7, The Vomited Tract? Um, one of the greatest song titles of all time. What more do you need? It doesn't even matter what it sounds like.
Oh, they got better
that
ones
is what
coming up. They got
They got
better.
some
they,
better.
they do, but that's a great start.
That's a great
That's one that
start.
jumps out right away. Yeah. Fester Day, it's 22 seconds. Love it. Um, Excreted Alive, again, great title. And really, like, if this doesn't open up your fucking Denny's into a pit, I don't know what will, man. This rips. Um, yeah, Separation, Feticide, all great. Feast on Dismembered Carnage, Stank Face, love it. Splattered Cavities, classic Carcass. Burnt to a Crisp is a highlight. Um, Oxidized Razor Masticator, badass. And yeah, you definitely read the lyrics. It's another part of the joke is they're all vegans. So there's all this talk about meat and how we're all just meat, but they're vegans. I don't know. We won't even get into that conversation, but it is part of the joke, and I
That's
love it.
funny. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah. uh, dare I say they're the funniest band to come out of Liverpool?
I don't know. Isn't Ringo the jokey
Yeah.
guy?
Thank God for John Peel for actually like hearing some magic in here and giving this radio airplay in the UK. And yeah, I mean,
Wait, this
obviously. Oh, go ahead.
no, this album got radio airplay in the UK in the
Uh huh.
80s.
The '80s were
Uh-huh.
wild, man.
Uh, did pretty good too.
I suppose I'm used to
Cover work
modern
not
radio that
banned.
doesn't play shit.
There's at least 4 different versions out there. I have the version you're looking at, but it did come packaged in a garbage sack. Like they would not just display it. You had to open it up. Uh, the vinyl's great. It's a vomit-inducing yellow, red, green splatter. I own multiple copies of this. I should show them off now. Try to show them off every episode. I have the entire Pathologist report, which was the reissue of the first 5 albums that each came with a DVD, documentary, a lot of bonus tracks, lots of cool stuff.
No, that's neat.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, yeah. It's technically it's terrible. Musically, it's way ahead of its time, and yet it also makes 0 sense. Um, and this is a channel that loves and celebrates Wesley Willis. I think this is a channel that should love and celebrate Reek of Putrefaction. But that's just me. Hashtag first album bias.
No way. No way.
Bullshit.
No way.
You can't know.
We'll get there. We'll
I
see.
already know that's not going to be true.
God damn it. And I got the first dot, too.
Oh, yeah, okay. Jason, these like first four, I think, are pretty simple. I think I know where Tim's putting these first four.
Well, I don't know. We'll see.
First, we got to put the first one.
Which is automatically.
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah, it's got to be a number one
Got
for
to
now.
start somewhere.
But where do they go from here? Sophomore follow-up.
Sophomore follow-up.
Symphonies of Sickness. Stick around for that. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. If you'd like to choose an artist for us to cover, sign up for our Patreon, because we will cover any band, no matter how much YouTube is going to flag the shit out of us for this. We don't care. So, let us know. And as always, be safe and make good decisions.
And then you go a little woo, and then a little whoop, 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 and then it's all, and then you're ready to go again.
Y'all come back now, you hear?